And I'm Heather Branch here with Abe asking for his insight on the things you can be working on now to better prepare for your financial future. As you get closer to retirement, you need to have a plan in place that's going to financially support you through what's hopefully going to be many decades of a happy, healthy retirement. And when it comes to figuring out that plan, it gets more and more complicated, Abe, as the years go by. So
it does. A lot of moving parts to plan for.
So many moving parts, but the good news is you don't have to figure out how to navigate all those parts by yourself. Abe and his team are here to help you figure all these things out, put the plan in place, and help you get on to all the things you want to be thinking about in your retirement years. Not the stock market and the ups and downs and the what ifs. It's the, sure, let's go out to dinner again tonight, honey. That's the kind of thing. That's what we want, Abe.
Absolutely.
in the years ahead.
Absolutely.
And of course, and I always think about how, there's the expression like every day in retirement, every day is Saturday except for Sunday. And I feel like kind of the summertime vibe also. Every season is summertime in retirement. All the vacationing and like the eating out and all those things.
That's what it should be all about. That's what it should be all about. Yep.
But again, we need to know that we have that financial means to support us. And we were actually talking before we came on the air today about how you were saying how you'll meet people with $15 and $20 million and they'll look at you and say, is it enough?
That's right. They have no idea that, most people in the area, DC metro area, have $1 million to $5 million. So, the people with 10, 15, 20 million that come in and call into the show, honestly, they're just as maybe lost and clueless and not confident as much as someone with $1 million to $5 million. And you would think, well, they'll be totally fine. If you have 20 million, you can lose 10 million, $15 million and still be okay. And while that's probably true, they typically got there on their own without a lot of advice, and they don't know what they don't know. And so, we have a wide range of people that call into the show, business owners, but mostly just middle Americans that work hard for 30 to 40 years. Our clients don't play the lottery. They work hard. They sock it away, dollar cost average year after year. And then they wake up at 55, 65, and they realize the fruits of their labor over that 30 to 40 years. And they realize, wow, I've got that $2 or $3 million that I've planned to have saved. But now I need advice and guidance on how to get this money out, Abe and the team.
I
knew how to grow it. I knew how to sock it away, but I'm not working anymore. I can't sock it away anymore. I've got to protect it. I need to distribute it. I want to enjoy it, right? You don't want to be 80 years old and wish that you had enjoyed it in your 60s and 70s in your go-go years, right? So you need a different type of plan. And that's how we help people here at Abich.
Well, and as you speak to the people that you talk to, a lot of people in the DC metro area have saved $1 to $5 million.
Right.
Generally seems to be the person that you talk to that calls into the show.
Yes.
And we should just go ahead and say congratulations to all those people, because they are in a small percent, because the idea of having saved $1 million for retirement, according to the Federal Reserve, only 10% of people have done that, have reached that goal, meaning 90% of people do not have, Abe, the 1.8 million that BlackRock says you need, or the 3 million that CZ Orman says we need, or the 5 million that Kevin O'Leary talks about. Yet, according to a new survey, 70% of people say they are confident they will have enough money for retirement. So it sounds to me like we've got a lot of perspective happening here, and maybe some that's not correctly aligned.
Right.
How is all of this possible?
Yeah, and it's typically $1 million to $3 million, Heather, that we see, people able to, retire comfortably in retirement. It's not a ton of money, but it's enough money when people aren't living, an extravagant lifestyle and flying, on private jets and things like that. Hearing Kevin Leary's perspective, I think, his might be a little tainted being a billionaire, and, he's saying you need to have 5 million. But, I would say we've got some clients that have less than $1 million, but if you've got a strong pension and a nice Social Security check and maybe pensions and Social Security, and if those cover all your expenses or a lot of your expenses, and you have $500,000, $700,000, $1 million, that could definitely be enough to live a comfortable retirement. So if you're listening right now, don't get discouraged if you don't have 3, 4, 5 million. It's all relative based on how much you spend, and if you don't spend a lot, then that's going to be helpful. If you do spend a lot, I'm talking maybe 15, 20, 25,000 a month. You've got to be getting after it, and to spend that amount per month. Then you need to have a good savings amount and or some strong pensions and Social Security.
Got
And
it.
so we just had a couple call in and come into the office. They live in Western Loudoun County here in our county, and they've got $3 million saved. And
Okay.
they've hopped around from phase one firm to phase one firm to phase one firm. If I mention the names of the firms, everyone would know who they are. And kind of hopped around for different reasons. And so their biggest problem, and the reason why they were coming in, is they've been listening to us for years, and they don't have a savings problem. This $3 million, the 4% rule out there is, well, if you take out 4% of your investments every year, you kind of should be okay. And 3 to 4% of $3 million is 100 to 120 grand a year of income, which is more than they need, coupled with pensions and Social Security. So the problem for them, Heather, wasn't the amount of money they've saved, but it was where the money was saved and how the plan was working for them. And the type of plan that they had, Heather, is that things work well when the markets are up, but things weren't working so well in the past when the markets were down, meaning that everything they had, and this is a couple in their early 70s, was in the stock market.
Wow.
In the stock market. Let's take a step back here. If all this couple needs is 3 to 4% in yield and return, then why would all of the money be in the stock market? Because you don't have to have all of the money in the stock market to make 3 or 4%, right? You can make 3 or 4% in a lot of places right now safely with guarantees. I mean, look at treasuries currently and CDs. A lot of CDs right now are paying 4 or 5%, and money markets out there right now are paying over 5% currently here in July of 2024. So why then would you be taking all this risk if you don't need a lot of income? It's because they were with a phase one firm who only invests in the stock market. So this couple had been listening to us for years, and they're like, you know what? I think we should just go for a second opinion, because we're hearing about a lot of things that Abich is talking about on WMAL that we're not currently getting at our big box firm. Simple things: an income plan, a tax strategy for the $3 million, an estate plan to pass on these dollars as tax efficiently as possible, protection against healthcare, protection against market downturns so they don't lose 15 to 20% again as they did in 2022. This is all phase one stuff versus phase two, right? And phase two, if you just think about this, you've worked for 30 to 40 years to get to retirement. You may already be retired. A phase two plan protects against all of the risks that can mess up a great savings plan. And that connected with this couple on the radio so much that they came in and now they are clients. So if you're listening right now, you may be in the same boat, and you may say, Abe, I don't know that we need your services. We've got 3 or 4 or 5 million. Things seem to be going fine right now. It's producing nice income. The markets are up. Our portfolios are up. They're higher than they've ever been. But you may not know what you don't know. And how would your portfolio hold up and perform if we have another 2008 or 2022? And how would your portfolio hold up if you're not tax diversified and you don't have tax strategy to lower and mitigate tax? And how would your assets pass on if you don't have the proper estate planning strategies? These are a lot of reasons why clients come in to talk to us and why this couple came into us. So if you're listening right now and you say, Abe, I sound like, this couple you just talked about, and, our portfolio is humming along just fine and things are good. The markets have been up, but you talk a lot about other things than just the investments, the taxes and healthcare. And I believe we need more of a comprehensive plan, and a lot of people do. Go to our website, theretirementkey.com. Click on the Contact Us tab at the top of that page, and we can give you that portfolio x-ray complimentary as well.
We also have links posted in the show notes, so you can just click there to go to our website, which is, again, theretirementkey.com. All right, so something like losing a lot of money in a market dip, not something we look forward to. Something else we also do not look forward to is the amount of taxes that we're going to have to pay out in our retirement years.
Taxes.
In case you were not aware, Uncle Sam is coming for his piece of your big 401k pie.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, in the way of RMDs, Abe. This is, of course, as I was saying, the government, it forces us to required minimum distributions. It forces us to take distributions out of our not yet taxed accounts so that it can get its fair share, can get, well,
Yes.
maybe fair, maybe I misused that word here, can get what it thinks is its fair share
Correct. Correct.
of your savings. And so the whole idea about ways to work around this problem is a question and a conversation so many of us have. Christine Benz was recently speaking about this as far as delaying RMDs from Morningstar. Here's what she said.
So if you have IRAs, you still have to take those RMDs from those accounts. But if you're still working and you have some sort of a company provided plan, a 401k plan, for example, even if you are of RMD age and you're not an owner of more than 5% of that company that you're employed by, you can delay RMDs on that particular account. You may even actually be able to roll in assets from an IRA into that company provided plan. Whether you're able to do so depends on the plan, but that's another RMD mitigation strategy.
This is a great idea, tactic, perhaps for somebody who's in that position. It does seem like a narrow, focused group of people that might fall under that umbrella, Abe. But
Correct.
thinking about loopholes, I mean, this is a perfect case scenario of something that somebody may not have known that they could take advantage of. And it's also an example of the type of things you watch out for when it comes to protective tax planning, is it not?
Exactly right. And Heather, when you think of kind of getting out of harm's way and protecting your life savings, most people immediately think, okay, I don't want to be taking on too much risk in the stock market.
Right.
But what if you've saved all of your money and most of it is in pre-taxed accounts? You get to retirement and you have a few $1,000,000 and it hasn't been taxed yet. You're looking at significant potential tax risk there on your dollars.
Yeah.
And if tax rates rise and your wages go away and all your expenses and your deductions go away, or they go down substantially, and the tax brackets rise, you could be looking at losing more money to Uncle Sam than currently, right? So one other strategy right now, and in terms of how to handle and tackle and lower RMDs for you in the future, would be to look at potentially doing Roth conversions, right? Or contributing to the Roth 401k or Roth TSV or Roth IRA, so that those contributions and future growth would be free of tax down the road. And so we just had a gentleman come in from the Fredericksburg area, 1.5 million saved, really conservative investor. And this is the biggest reason why he came in. No clue on how to handle income, distributions, and RMDs from his life savings. A lot of advice and guidance out there in our industry about how to save it, all kinds of investment advice. It could be Bitcoin, it could be real estate, it could be annuities, stocks, bond, mutual funds, and probably 1,000 other options. Very little advice and guidance on how to get the money out safely, how to have it last you the rest of your life, and how to satisfy those RMDs so that you're satisfying the IRS requirements. And no one wants to get in trouble with the IRS and have penalties just because you didn't calculate the RMD correctly. So the gentleman came in because of these concerns. So we put together a phase 2 plan, an income and distribution plan that handles RMDs. Again, most people have no idea how to handle or calculate them. Most people need help with the income and distribution part of a retirement plan because less than 10% of our industry really specializes in this phase of a retirement plan. So if you sound like this gentleman from Fredericksburg, Virginia, you say, you know what, Abe, I need help with RMDs, with income and distributions. I just don't know what I don't know, and I need help there. Go to the retirementkey.com. Click on the Contact Us tab at the top of the page, and we can put together that comprehensive retirement roadmap for you as well.
We also have links posted in the show notes, so you can just click there, or again, visit us anytime at theretirementkey.com.